This is not the energy that I was expecting for this Gemini new moon. Hello and welcome to your tarot forecast for the Gemini New Moon 2023. If you are new here, my name is Michelle Shea Walker and I'm an intuitive coach, an empathic healer, and an oracle deck creator living in Chicago, Illinois. I do these readings on the new and full moon every month, and we have a general collective reading on the social medias, and we have an in-depth reading that happens over on my Patreon. So if what's about to unfold resonates for you, you might want to check that out. And I actually got a message from my guides to switch things up a little bit this month. So normally what I do is pull 2, 3, 4 cards for the general collective and then go into an in-depth reading with 10 to 12 cards over on my Patreon. And I've played around with in the past doing elemental readings, earth, air, fire, water for your sun, moon, rising, Venus signs. But I usually reserve the individual sign readings for my tarot scopes that happen every single month at the first of the month on my Patreon. I try not to exhaust my energy by doing each individual sign, but I got a hardcore message that that's what I'm doing for this general collective reading. So I've got my tea, I've got my water, I'm ready for a lot of talking. But that being said, we are going to do just 2 cards for every sign. We will start with Gemini, since that is where this new moon resides, and we'll go all the way around the zodiac signs. I encourage you to watch your sun, your moon, your rising, or at the very least your sun and your rising. And if you want to add in your Venus for a little insight to your love life, or your midheaven for a little insight in your divine purpose, you can just go through the entire chart if you want. And if you find that your sun, moon, rising, Venus, whatever it is you listen to resonates for you, even if it's just one of them, if it hits hard, whoever feels called to go over to the Patreon to watch the rest of the reading is on a higher level divine purpose. So if you are just in this to get your fortune told and, you know, that's what you're going to get from these readings, awesome. Welcome. Be here. If you feel like you have a pull towards something larger in the grand scope of your world and in your life, and you're searching for those answers, that is what we're going to dive in with the reading over on the Patreon. So if you're up for the challenge, you can always do a 7-day free trial and check it out. So before we get to the cards, we are going to dive into my energy reading on this Gemini new moon. So as I was sitting in meditation prior to doing this reading, I got a huge burden energy in the back of my right shoulder blade. So what this means as an empathic healer to me is that we are carrying around a large masculine energy burden. Now, if you're new here, masculine and feminine has nothing to do with gender. We're talking about the divine energy. We have both of these energies within us, and we're waffling back and forth between the two, but just like your gender of choice, you have a gender that you identify more with. If you are identifying more as a divine masculine energy, if you have more yang energy in your being naturally, then you might be carrying around your own burdens. Or if you identify more as a divine feminine, which tends to be the type of energy that gravitates towards these readings, you are trying to carry the burdens of someone else, of a masculine in your life. And again, that could be masculine gender or energy-wise. So there's a message here right away to stop trying to carry someone else's problems and to solve someone else's problems and to heal for someone else. And I got a big hit that for a lot of us, even if it is an individualized masculine energy that we're carrying the burdens of, we are also trying to shoulder the burdens of the masculine at large, so the patriarchy, or the masculine energy of generations and generations of mindsets. And we are kind of trying to slough that off. So it is a big energy topic that's happening here, particularly for those of you that are going to feel called to go over to the Patreon for the divine path message. And I just want us to be gentle with ourselves. I thought that this Gemini new moon was going to be kind of easygoing energy. You know, there's going to be some communication because it's Gemini, it's manifestation energy, but I've heard from a couple astrologers that it might not be the best energy to manifest around just because of the other things going on with the planets. And so I was just like, this is just going to be an easy, chill out, get through it, maybe do your communication, and we're having some heavy stuff come through. But the good news is that the heavy stuff is coming through because we've chosen to shoulder those burdens. So we can make the other choice to choose ourselves and to let go of the idea that we need to change or alter someone else's life or carry their burdens for them. So with that in mind, We're going to dive in. We're going to do 2 cards for each sign. The first card is going to be from the Total Betty 2.0 deck. So the Total Betty Goddess deck is a deck of my creation. It's 90s goddesses playing the icons. You can find out more about that in the link below. And we're going to do a single card from the Modern Witch Tarot. So these 2 cards are going to tell us what the energy is for each sign underneath this new moon. So starting with our Gemini energy, who is coming out to play and help you with this Gemini new moon energy? Ooh, right away, got a jumper. Your goddess for this Gemini new moon is Themis, played by Ally McBeal. So, Themis, I like to think of as the Justice card of the Total Betty Goddess deck. So if you're familiar with tarot, the Justice card is about finding sort of a karmic balance in things and recognizing that there is a karmic balance to things. A lot of times, Themis is about letting go of a grudge. She often comes out whenever there is some sort of resentment that you're holding on to or some sort of revenge fantasy that you're indulging yourself in. And it's a reminder that the universe is giving everyone their just desserts. So not only does that mean that you don't have to worry about any sort of revenge or justice in regards to a situation where you might have felt wronged, but it also means that to keep your side of the street clean, you might not want to be having those revenge fantasies. So if you can trust that everyone's going to get exactly what they deserve, you can clean up your side of the street by blessing and releasing that energy that you've been holding on to. Holding a grudge is like drinking poison and hoping for the other person to die. So do not do this to yourself. Do not do this to your energy. Do not do this to your karma. Let it go. Trust that everyone's getting exactly what they deserve. And that includes you if you keep your side of the street clean. So with that in mind, we'll move into our tarot. So our single tarot card for the Geminis under this Gemini new moon is the 5 of Swords. I love cards, guys. This just backs up everything that I just said because the 5 of Swords is about walking away from a fight that is kind of a waste of your energy and the energy of those around you. So there really is sort of there's some sort of conflict, whether it be from your past that you're still holding on to or currently. And Themis is here to tell you everybody's getting what they deserve. Chill out. Let it go, bless it and release it, find gratitude for what you learned and move forward because that is going to be how you ultimately win the game. Moving forward from Gemini into Cancer, I am a fellow Cancer sun, so if you're listening to that, I feel you. We are in this energy together and I'm going to find out what our Total Betty Goddess is for this Gemini new moon. We don't have anything that wants to immediately jump out, so I feel like it could be anyone's game. All right, I had 2 jumpers. I'm gonna take them both. I wasn't going to, but then I feel like I need to. So, first jumper, Ocean, played by 90s Lauryn Hill. Second jumper, Artemis, played by Angela Chase from My So-Called Life. There are 2 things happening here, but they go together. Artemis is about nurturing your becoming, maybe going through an awkward stage very similar to adolescence where you feel like you know it all or you're really your true self and you're actually just trying to figure everything out. Ocean is a goddess of a lot of stuff, but a lot of times she comes forward for me whenever it's about abundance. So my fellow Cancers, you are working on going through sort of an uncomfortable adolescence in regards to your abundance, finances, and ability to manifest financial reward. So what does this mean? It means that you are being called to reprogram the way that you might habitually look at these things. You are supposed to look at it with the eyes of a beginner, someone who's learning, someone who doesn't know everything just yet, and that is going to help you to find a new and better perspective and let go of past burdens around your money and finances. We also have 2 cards from the tarot cards, so I'm going to go ahead and take both of those. So we have the Emperor and the Knight of Swords. So this is telling me that we are being called to really focus on the big picture in regards to this money and finance issue, but also to be available to taking chances whenever opportunities show up. This is a very interesting energy and I'm smiling because it's resonating for me on several levels and I'm not going to get into that right now, but this is about making your plan, getting the bird's eye view of where you want to be, and then allowing that plan and structure to let you be a little impulsive when it really counts to use your finances to your growth and your advantage. So what this feels like to me is creating a budget and creating a financial growth plan, and also maybe a business plan if you own your own business or if you're investing in yourself in some way, and knowing where you're going and knowing what the confines of that budget and that financial savings plan is. And then once you have that in place, having a little bit of wiggle room so that if an opportunity to invest in something or to spend on something that's going to pay off later comes about, you have that freedom. So having a bit of a nest egg that's going to be both for security and for, I don't want to say mad money, because this doesn't feel like it's so much about like spending frivolously on something that's just on a whim that makes you feel good. Like, yes, it's going to make you feel good, but it's going to make you feel good in almost like an opposite Cancerian sign, the Capricorn energy of like an investment and a really structured plan for your future and an investment in yourself. It feels as if you get a hot tip on something to invest in, or you get a friend that wants you to go all in on a company with them, and it's kind of a sudden opportunity and you have to act quickly. And you need to have your budget in place. You need to have that nest egg in place that's both for security and then a nest egg that's for these type of investments. And then you don't have to hem and haw over whether or not you're going to make the dive into this thing when it feels really right. Because I do feel like whatever it is that's coming about is going to feel really right. And it could be investing in yourself as well. It could be having an opportunity to buy some new business cards or to promote yourself online in some way. But you're going to need the finances for that. And you're going to need the structure around your finances first to be able to know that you can take that leap. Because we don't want to get to this place where we are getting this opportunity for this big investment and you don't have any idea how much money is coming in and going out every month. You need to know that stuff so that you can feel confident in making that leap forward. So from our Cancers, we move into Leo. Leo, we're gonna pull your Total Betty Goddess card. And we got too many jumpers. I'm not gonna take all of those. So we're gonna find out who wants to play for this Gemini New Moon. And I had one almost want to come out, but not quite. Oh, you're poking out. All right, so we have Ying Neo. This goddess is played by Margaret Cho in All American Girl. If you haven't seen that 90s TV sitcom history moment, feel free to YouTube it. And this is a card of wishes fulfilled through dedication to a routine. So this is very transformative. This goddess originally is a bear goddess that transforms after a period of time in a cave. And it's really a lesson of dedicating yourself to your dreams and seeing that pay off. So Leo, you are definitely, Queen of Pentacles is your tarot card. So let me get to that in a second. You are definitely having a moment here during this new moon where you are creating the energy that is going to allow you to manifest your dreams if you can dedicate yourself to it and show up for it daily until it happens. And that is just echoed with our Queen of Pentacles tarot card, because the Queen of Pentacles really knows how to invest in her future that feels safe and secure and mothering and just really stable. So this is about creating daily routines that support your bigger dreams. So this could be that you are actually working towards a goal on a day-to-day basis and you set aside time for that and you structure it into your calendar and you make sure that you show up for that. Or it could be about just setting yourself up for success in everyday life by having daily routines that make you feel your best. So this is definitely about finding a way to ground that fiery Leo passion in your day-to-day life and in a way that feels a little more earth sign, a little more stable, a little more, dare I say, boring, but in the long run, it's not boring because it pays off with your dreams coming true. So I hope that served you well, Leo. Moving on from Leo into Virgo. Virgo, we're going to find out what your goddess is from the Total Betty 2.0 deck. So who's coming out for our Gemini New Moon? We got a jumper. Okay, Virgo, your goddess from the Total Betty Goddess deck is Brizzo, played by Marla Singer from Fight Club. And she is all about paying attention to your subconscious and your dream life. So if you do not have a dream journal, this is a great time to start. And it's also a good time to allow yourself the extra space to have those dreams. If you're a Virgo, you probably have a pretty structured routine, but if you have been slacking on the amount of sleep that you've been getting lately or on the quality of sleep you've been allowing yourself to have, this is a really great month to really invest in that. And again, keep the dream journal right by your bed. Even if you don't think you're remembering something, let whatever is coming forward come forward. Practice writing down what you can remember every day, and you will eventually get better at that. And it'll be crazy how prophetic your dreams are, even if you have to look back 6 months from now, a year from now for them to make sense. But you will not regret having those dreams written down. Your card is the Ace of Swords. So the Ace of Swords is saying that you might actually get a brilliant strike of insight within these dreams. So if there is just inspiration that you've been waiting for a project in your life, for an answer that you need, it might come forward in these dreams. And I don't get the feeling that it's going to be super complicated. You're not going to have a PhD in dream interpretation to be able to understand these dreams. You might have to Google a few like symbolisms of some things that show up that stick out to you. But for the most part, it's going to be pretty straightforward as to where you're going and what this inspiration is. And the best advice that I have for you is that as soon as that inspiration strikes, make sure that you do something to bring it into the real world. Because just like those dreams escape us if we don't immediately write them down upon awaking, you will have this inspiration fly out of your mind and out of your life if you don't do something to ground it in reality. Good luck with that, Virgo. Moving from Virgo into Libra, your Total Betty goddess is... We have several, but one of them jumped away from the pack, so I'm going to find out who that is. Okay, Libra, your Total Betty goddess that kind of fell away from the pack whenever several cards fell out is 8, played by 90s Courtney Love. So she is here to tell you to make a little mischief and to maybe not be so balanced underneath this new moon. Don't worry, you'll get back to your equilibrium eventually, but follow your impulses. If something feels a little crazy or just a little curious, this feels like following your curiosity in a way that maybe makes you a little uncomfortable, gets you a little outside your comfort zone, but for you, that is good. Make sure that you are allowing yourself that time, that space to get a little playful and break some rules. I know, it's hard, it's tough, but it's going to be rule breaking that you feel comfortable with. I don't think you're going to be breaking any laws. You're going to find something that is maybe a rule that you made for yourself that is a long time coming in need of an update. And by following through on this impulse to break this rule, you actually find that you want to revise the rules that you have for yourself. In our tarot card for you, we have the Page of Pentacles. So this rule breaking might have something to do around finances. Maybe you're really structured with your budget and there's an opportunity that comes forward that is allowing you to do something really fun that feels really in alignment, but it's breaking a little bit of your budget. Go for it. I don't get the feeling that any Libras out there are going to be spending their entire life savings on some whim if I give this advice. So if there's something that's like bending the rules a little bit in regards to feeling stable and secure and financially abundant, know that practicing the idea that money flows in and money flows out and abundance is always in motion is really going to be beneficial for you underneath this new moon. So I don't think you're going to go crazy with it. So I don't think I need to give you that warning. If anything, I need to tell you to push you out of the nest a little bit more. But if something feels fun, do it and trust that the universe is going to pay you back for that adventure. Moving forward from Libra into Scorpio. Scorpio, your Total Betty goddess for this Gemini new moon is Pytho, played by Marissa Tomei and My Cousin Vinny. So you are being super persuasive underneath this Gemini new moon. This is a very Gemini-esque card because it's a very gift of gab type card. So treat your words like they are coated in seductive honey underneath this new moon, because you can kind of get what you want just by sweet talking someone. And we have a card that fell out for your tarot card, so let me see what that is. Ooh, your tarot card is the Tower card. So I have twofold interpretations for this. One is, I think that whatever it is you're sweet talking has the possibility to really shake up your life. And two is, be careful what you say, because what you can say has the ability to shake up your life. So make sure that you're really going into a situation and trying to get what you want with your words in a way that's really in alignment with what you want for the big picture of things. Don't abuse this power is basically what I'm getting, because it's kind of a be careful what you wish for energy. Like, you really will get everything that you want, and it's kind of Aladdin and the genie and the lamp. And like, really be careful of your words, really be careful of what you're wishing for. Make sure that it's in alignment with your overall intentions, make sure it's in alignment with your authentic self, and also make sure that you're not hurting anyone in the process. Like, you don't want that karma on your back. So sweet talk your way into some really cool situations, some really good rewards, but don't do it for the detriment of someone else. Like, really be mindful of the karma that you're putting out there in regards to what you're wishing for. Moving forward from Scorpio into Sagittarius. Sagittarius, I picked up the deck and the bottom card just wanted to fall off. So that's your goddess. Your goddess is Persephone, played by 90s Winona Ryder. So this is definitely an energy of being submersive is what the caption on the card says, but it's definitely an energy of letting yourself go a little underground. And I mean that twofold. I mean, go underground, and don't be afraid if you do feel the need to kind of hermit yourself away, but also go a little underground in a sort of like the underground scene sort of way. And that it feels like you're supposed to be embracing a hobby, an interest, or following a curiosity that feels a little underground. It feels a little counterculture. It feels kind of like your own little cool secret. Like, I'm just getting lots of visuals of some like literal underground club where it's like everyone in this club is into whatever you're currently into. And for me, that would be something like cats and drinking tea, but it's like going into like a nightclub and having everyone in the nightclub shunning alcohol and drinking tea and talking about cats all night. And that is the new trend. So trust that whatever your quirky, nerdy interests are, it can be a new trend. And there is some sort of underground counterculture that you can be a part of that is going to really mirror that back to you. So that sounds kind of fun. So I hope you have fun with that, Sagittarius. Oh, and Sagittarius, you still need a tarot card. So let's see what your tarot card is from the Modern Witch Tarot. That felt like a complete reading. So this must just be a little bit of an add-on. We have two cards that jumped out. First one, Two of Cups. Second one, Six of Swords. So you might have a partner in crime in regards to this adventure, or you might be sort of separating yourself from the pack, because the Two of Cups is kind of an offer of love, a partnership, whether it be romance or like a platonic friendship. But the Six of Swords is moving away from something that's no longer serving you. So I almost feel like through separating yourself from the pack that you've been in that maybe doesn't fully resonate with your quirky weirdness, you are moving towards more divine connections. So if you don't take a friend from your old pack with you, if that doesn't resonate for you, trust that that means that you're going to find another sort of community in this endeavor, or another best friend, or a partner. And if you do feel like it resonates to take someone with you, be open to expanding that community while you're in this experience as well. Okay, I hope that served you well. From our Sagittarius, we're moving into Capricorn. So Capricorn, your total Betty goddess is Aradia, played by Rose McGowan in the movie Jawbreaker. Aradia is, first of all, goddess of witches. and there are a couple of goddess of witches in this deck, but she's one of the goddesses of witches, and in particular, goddess of the oppressed. I like to think of her as more like the goddess of like the Salem witch, or the witch that's being on trial, and that she is here to kind of stick up for you and your weirdness and whatever it is that society thinks is sort of bad or wrong about you. She's here to bolster that up and to remind you that what is different about you is your superpower. So I want you to really think about where it is that you're trying to hide yourself away from the world, and think of how helpful that would be if you had seen someone with those qualities out in the world when you were struggling, and be that for someone else. So if you are unique in the way that your neurology expresses itself, or your gender expresses itself, or your sexuality expresses itself, and you've been a little behind the scenes on that, or even just quieter about it lately, what a beautiful month to come forward and be loud and proud about who you are. And this is really a reminder that your ability to be your authentic self fully is going to make you a role model for someone who really needs that. So step into your power and trust that that is going to make others want to step in their power as well. So with that in mind, we'll move into the card, and your card, we have two jumpers, so we'll take them both. We have the Death card, which was reversed, which feels like a rebirth, and we have the Queen of Wands. So this does really feel very witchy. The Queen of Wands is giving me very big witchy vibes. So if you do have sort of spirituality that feels a little less than normal, what is normal? But if you're unique in your expression of your spirituality, start sharing that with the world. Maybe it's just with your friends in your inner circle, or maybe it's on social media, but this feels like there are some rituals and some ways that you will go about your spirituality that are actually really unique, and it's going to be really helpful and groundbreaking for someone out there. So don't be afraid to share that most authentic part of yourself, and trust that Aridia is on your side to help protect you and build you up and boost you up, because she is the goddess of both the witches and the oppressed. And you want to make sure that you are lifting up those around you that might have similar interest in the same fashion. So moving on from Capricorn into Aquarius, who is our total Betty goddess for Aquarius, we have a jumper, and it is Balbo, played by 90s Drew Barrymore. So Aquarius, embrace your weird. This should be pretty easy, but have fun with it. Don't get too serious. Don't get up on your soapbox underneath this Gemini new moon. I feel like even though it's a new moon of communication, because there's other stuff going on astrologically, people might not respond well to you if you're kind of preaching to them. And so Bao is telling you to do it playfully and do it kind of mischievously. This Bao is 90s Drew Barrymore doing a striptease for David Letterman on late night TV. It's playful. It's in a place that's not supposed to be taken seriously, even though it did become very scandalous at the time. If you watch it, it's just her having fun and being flirtatious. And that is the goal that you have underneath this new moon, is to present whatever message that you have for the world, or whatever platform you're trying to push forward, with a sense of playfulness and fun. And with that in mind, we'll move into your tarot card, which is a jumper. It's the Eight of Pentacles. So another reason you might be being called to be playful with this message is that you are still learning yourself. The Eight of Pentacles is a card of sort of being an apprentice in a field and really mastering your craft, but maybe not quite feeling like you're the expert that you want to be. But by doing, you become the expert. So what is that phrase? Like, it's like 100 hours of anything makes you an expert in something, or makes you better than like 90% of the population. I don't remember exactly what it is, but you get the point. So this is allowing yourself to maybe speak up or teach others before you feel like you're fully ready, but to recognize that by doing that, you're adding to that 1,000 hours of being an expert. And by being playful with it, you take some of the pressure off. So be playful, be silly, don't take it too seriously, and that's actually probably going to be a better way to reach your audience as well. So moving forward from Aquarius into Pisces. Pisces, I picked up the deck to shuffle for you, and the goddess fell out face up, so I'm going to take her. Your goddess is Hecate, played by Shannon Doherty in Charmed. So another goddess of witches. This is a card that is all about discipline, honestly. I work with Hecate in my own magic practice, and I gotta tell you that she is not as scary as some would think as a goddess of the witches and witchcraft, but she is very stern. She's a very stern guide or goddess to have in your corner, in that she wants you to show up for your goals and for your magical practices. So if you have a magical practice, now is the time to really dive into it in a way that feels dedicated. This is like a monk showing up for like daily meditations and being really, really devout to those practices. If you don't have a magical practice, in whatever way you define that as, it could be a good time to start. But if you start, make sure that you're being very structured with it. So I would say set aside a time of day for whatever it is that you're doing, whether it be meditation, chanting, some sort of rituals, just burning sage, setting intentions, journaling, whatever it is that makes magic in your life. Set aside a specific time of day that you do this and show up for it every single day. And you will be rewarded. And the great thing about Hecate is that she doesn't really punish you for not showing up, but she can't help you if you don't show up for these practices. So think of your daily practice as inviting in help for your manifestations, and they will get strengthened day by day by day by day, and that will hopefully motivate you to continue to show up for it. With that in mind, I was shuffling the cards as I was talking, and 2 cards fell out, so let's see what they are. We have the 4 of Wands, and we have the Ace of Pentacles. So this work will be very beneficial for creating structure and stability in your life in regards to building a foundation for something and manifesting abundance. So yes, you can do this for other things. The 4 of Wands is also a card of marriage. So if you were thinking that you wanted to manifest romance, it's not a bad thing to go that direction either, but go about it from a way that feels built from the ground up. So if you are a codependent or a love addict, or you're coming out of that and recovering, make sure that you're not getting caught up in the fantasy. Get caught up in like what you want your actual day-to-day life to look like, not what you want like the sweep you off your feet moments to look like if you're doing romance. If you're doing finances, it's a really great time to kind of help manifest the foundation for something in a way that feels really structured and stable. So use these practices, whatever they are for you, to set those intentions and to follow through with those intentions, and to let the inspiration for what actions to take regarding those intentions to come forward in your meditations, in your journaling, and whatever it is you choose to do on a regular basis to invite in this helpful Hecate energy. So moving forward from our Pisces into Aries. Aries, your Total Betty card is, this one stuck, so we're gonna go with her. Hathor, played by Moesha. And this is definitely a home-based card, but I'm going to use home loosely. So it could be actually like redecorating your home or just creating a cozier home space for yourself. But it also could be like your inner home, your spiritual home, and making that nice and cozy. So we do have sort of a theme that's starting to develop here as we move into these later signs of creating a little ritual, of creating a little spiritual practice. And I think that that's no different here. Even if you are redecorating your home, you want to redecorate it and create a space for your spirituality somewhere. Create a physical space in your environment for that spiritual practice that makes you feel at home, and then both will feed on to the other one. So with that in mind, we move into the cards. We have a couple cards that fell, but one of them fell apart, so we're gonna see what that is. Our tarot card that fell separate from the rest is the 7 of Pentacles. So this is a card of planting seeds and watching them grow. So trust that by creating an environment that helps you thrive, you will thrive. And you will get what you want from your spirituality, from your home life, from your manifestations, but it does take time. You are tilling the soil right now when you are creating a home environment that makes you feel secure and stable, and creating a spiritual practice that makes you feel at home inwardly as well. And that is going to eventually blossom into your manifestations. But just like we usually use the new moons to set a manifestation that's going to come to fruition 6 months later, know that it will take time. And that is why you want to feel really comfortable and cozy in the current moment, because you're going to sit around and wait for a little bit, but the wait doesn't have to be arduous. It can actually be really pleasant because you've created such a safe and cozy space for yourself. What did you knock over? We had to pause for kitten chaos. So baby boy Bane is going to be joining me, at least until he decides to go and do more chaos. Where was I? Taurus. Last one. Taurus. We are moving into your Total Betty Goddess card, and the Total Betty Goddess for your Gemini New Moon is... Ooh, nobody's talking yet. Ooh, it could be anyone's game. Hang on. So Taurus, your card for the Gemini New Moon is Nike, played by Reese Witherspoon from the movie Election. Ooh, I love this. This is some great, stubborn Taurus energy. This is some great energy for the Taurians to be able to really stick to their guns and really trust that they're right, which they're really good at. You are really good at trusting that you are right and you know what the answer is. And that is what this energy is. So that being said, I am getting a little hit that underneath this Gemini New Moon, communication is important and it is a little fuddled. So knowing that you're right and trying to gloat to someone that you're right are maybe different things underneath this new moon. Let's see what your tarot card is, because it fell in my lap and I feel like it's got a little more information for us. The Ten of Pentacles. So you can have a really, really fruitful and loving and stable home environment with this energy underneath this Gemini New Moon. And it's because you do know best for these decisions, for this building of this foundation, for this building of this family or financial security or whatever it is. That being said, because there are other people involved in this card, the energy of Tracy Flick being sort of abrasive and not so likable to her peers is not the energy that's going to make for the most peaceful environment in regards to what you're manifesting. So I'm definitely not telling you to not voice your opinions here. It is an energy of knowing that you're right and knowing that following that gut feeling that's really rooted in the earth, like the Taurian intuition is going to pay off tenfold, because that's the Ten of Pentacles that's coming out. But be mindful of not ruffling too many feathers. This almost feels like you don't have to share your knowledge of what's going to happen or the fact that you're right with everyone. There are some essential people in your life that are going to need to know as you move forward and build this goal. But it feels like there are some tertiary individuals that it's just going to rock the boat if you are trying to convince them of what you already know. So you know it. If someone's trying to fight against you about something that you know within yourselves is right for you, just let them believe whatever they want to believe and go do what you want to do. Just let it roll off your back and then go do what you knew you were going to do anyway, which you should be pretty good at, because I love you, Taurus. You are stubborn and you will do your agenda to the nth degree, and that is what makes you so beautiful and so stabilizing for my watery energy. Nike's coming in and saying like, yeah, you're right. Your intuition's right. You should do that thing that you want to go do. But also don't feel like you have to convince people that you're right. Just show them. Just move forward and do your thing and be a success, because that's what the Ten of Pentacles is. And don't feel like you have to stand there talking in circles with someone that is not willing to see things from your perspective. And it's probably going to try and talk you out of it and confuse your intuition and all kinds of stuff. So just trust your intuition and move forward, and don't listen to what anyone else has to say about it. So that is our full astrology 2 to 4 card reading, depending on which sign we were on. We are going to move into the extended reading over on the Patreon. But as I said, I'm not going to do every single sign over on the Patreon, because what's going to happen is we're going to have a smaller collective over there. And I'm reading into just those that do feel called to a higher divine mission. So if that is you, again, I have a 7-day trial available. It is the monthly mystic level that you want to sign up for the trial period if you want to watch the extended version of this video. The link is below for that. And if you're watching on the Patreon, the rest of your reading starts right now.